welcome to my channel, Mark Bailey Trike. You might be wondering why I'm wearing this. Well, this year celebrates the 50th anniversary of James Hunt's championship win in 1976. And James Hunt's one of these drivers that sort of gets overlooked as far as the greats go, probably rightly, but James Hunt was probably, well, was my childhood hero, and he was a character, probably one of the best ever characters in Formula One. So yeah, love him, like him, I like him. He wore this on his overalls. Thank you, Carl, for giving me this badge. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, one thing, I'll put a little post up. I think I've got the picture. People always look at the Hamiltons, the Schumachers, the Clarks, the Fanjos being the greatest drivers of all time. Quite rightly so. But James Hunt's got a statistic which probably not many of you know about. He has beaten, or has the best average for beating his teammates out all the F1 drivers ever. So yeah, so don't disregard him totally. He was a very good driver, proper character, did things that racing drivers these days can't even dream about doing, smoking on TV, wearing this badge. And if you didn't like him, he'd thump you. But a great character, and sadly missed. So now on with my video. Today I'm going to be going through the last bit of fitting the centre console, and then going into something that some of you are modern technology, 3D printing. So yeah, let's crack on over to the workshop now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. I now have to fit the centre console, and I've got to secure it. So to secure it, I need to secure it up here. On this bar here, and I'm going to secure it also on the front, so it's got 3 points. Now most people you could just rivet it here, here and here, but because I want to be able to service and get to the handbrake, if I rivet it every time I want to get to the handbrake, I've got to unrivet it, so that's not going to be the best way to do it. Long term, what I'd like to have is actually permanent threads in these bars, but it's a lot of effort to take them off just to put some threads in. So at the moment what I'm going to do is put riv nuts in. So I'm going to show you in a second what riv nuts are and how they work, but before that, as you can see, I'm going to have to take the side pods off. You can see over there I've got a plate. Now there will be a plate that goes on here as well, so I've got to allow for that when I'm putting it on. So again, I'll be taking the cover off, putting both plates on, and then marking out where I'm going to put these riv nuts, and I'm going to put a big long through bolt through there. So yeah, let's get on with it. I'm going to show you how now actually a riv nut works. This is my riv nut kit, and I have 4, 5 and 6mm riv nuts. I haven't got any Imperial ones. Now it works very much like a rivet. Hopefully most of you know what a rivet works like. And as you see, this is the gun. As you put it up, it contracts, and if you see it in there, you can see where it clamps the material. You can only really use these on tubes, probably up to about 2-3 mil thick. Anything more than that, and yeah, they don't work very well. They're not my greatest love. I really, if I could avoid using these, I would. But sometimes, like in this case, you've got to. Long term will be not to have these, but for the short term, they'll be fine for what I require. I've just noticed something which I hadn't seen before, but it's easily modified. When the handbrake's like this, the catch under here where the handbrake goes, as you can see, there's quite a lot of movement there. But as you put the handbrake on, this gets very almost touching. So I've just now got to nibble a bit of this out. So good job I noticed that before I bolted it all on. So yeah, I'll crack on and do that now. Right, so I've done the update. I'll just ground some away. As you can see now, that's with this pulled up really tight. I've got clearance under there, which is great. Next thing I've done is I've drilled the various holes. I've only used a small drill. The reason for that is it's a lot more accurate to be with a small drill to start with, especially when you're going through a piece of carbon or a bit of aluminium to some another bit of material. So always best to sort of use, I don't know, between sort of 3 and 4 mil drills. So I've done that. I'll open them up once I've got the right size, and again I've drilled the hole down there for the one going across. So the next bit is now, one other thing I've forgotten to say is what I've also done is, if you look here, I can move this around and make sure this is absolutely central with the chassis. I put a white line there, and that's the centre of the chassis, so I know that this isn't going to be off when I drill it. Right, I've put the riv nut in, and I'll now put the bolt in, show you how it fits. Now, one thing that I would suggest you, if you're ever doing anything like this, and you've got to put multiple inserts in, is to do your first 2 or 3 singly. So now I've got this one done. You see, you can't do this up very tight. That's gone in nicely. It's how holding it in the right place. So next I'll do this one exactly the same. I'll drill it, then I'll put the riv nut in, then I put the bolt in, and then I go and do the lower one, so it doesn't move around. You normally need to do 3. If you've got, say, 8 or 12 to do, that's fine. You can do your first 3 or 4 and then just bash out the rest, because obviously it's a lot quicker to put all the riv nuts in one go than it is keep taking the center console on off. But because I don't want to muck it up, I'd rather spend the time and just make sure it's all absolutely right. So a little suggestion and hopefully a little tip there for you guys as well. Okay, so it's all now fixed. I've now drilled the bolts at the front, all done at the back. Really quite happy with this. Handbrake operates, that's really strong. Everything's working now. I'm going to have to take it off again for a couple of reasons. One is I haven't finished it yet, because I didn't know if I'd mark this up or damage it whilst I was fitting it, so it needs a few more coats of lacquer. Also, getting into the seat belts down here now, I should be able to get in with the spanner. I've done it so I can, but if the seat belts come before I'm going to fit this back on again, I'll put them on first. But either way, I can do it one way or the other. Okay, something I just want to touch on. I've shown a few bits of 3D printing, but not a huge amount. Now, what I'm going to do now is just run through the various items that we've 3D printed on the car. It's a fairly new engineering process. When I say fairly new, over the last 10 years it's become readily available to a lot of people, and yeah, we've taken that on board and started using it. It's a really handy tool to be able to have. So going through the car now as we start, here was one of the later things we printed. This is the ECU, and I needed to get it up. It was going in that direction, but I needed to move it up, so we've printed, Adam has printed that base, and this base goes onto the actual ECU itself, bolted on, so it makes it very straightforward to actually get the ECU on and off, as you can see. So that's held on with a couple of R clips, so that's quite nice and neat. So we come round to the cockpit now. There's some bits here that I've 3D printed. I think most of you have seen already the steering wheel. Another little thing is just a little bezel around here. It's not glued in yet. This is for the gear indicator. We printed that up quite nicely. And again, underneath, I'm not sure if Karen can get under there or not, but there is under here, there is there's one both sides, there's one here as well. That's the adjusters for the dampers. Again, both those have been 3D printed as well. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to carry on talking, but I'm going to cut into some pictures so you can see them as they've come off our 3D printer. And you'll see here we've got a picture of the rear damper canister. But the first thing that got us into 3D printing was this part here. Now this is on the engine. Now the problem I had, and I tried to make one out of aluminium, which became difficult. This came straight out, and the air filter was way too high, and I've had to do a huge amount of modification to the engine cover to fit it. So what we did is we had this piece here 3D printed. We used the right material. We used a company called 3D Hubs, and they did a really good job on that part. So that was the very first part, and then after that we actually got our own 3D printers and started printing stuff. So I'll come over to this side of the car now and show you some of the bits that we've been doing. Here on the radiator is a very simple little 3D printed catch, so we can undo the electrical lines, and this holds the female electrical half onto the radiator cowling. So moving across now, the next thing that you'll see that we've done here is on the back. We've got this damper mounting, and again I'll put a picture of that up. On this side it's quite nice, because not only does it hold the damper, it holds the electrical mount for the for the rear bodywork. As we move forward to the adapter plate, we've put a little bracket we made on there. That's for the clutch bleed, and again for the clutch line here where it comes up, we made yet another little bracket here just to hold it and keep it all nice and firm and secure. As we come back round to the car this way, you can't see it very well, but down here on the oil lines we've printed these off, and the little pipe separators, we've made all sorts of different sizes, so they go between the pipes, so you can actually cable tie two pipes nicely together. Next up, on the sides of the car, I wanted some catch tanks, so when we've got any excess oil or water, it will come out and it will go into this catch tank here. So we printed, there's one this side and there's one the other side of the car as well. There's a couple other bits you can't see very well. We printed, I'll try and put some pictures up now so you'll see the picture coming up. This one is of the from the floor to the back of the gearbox, because we wanted a way of jacking the car up, and we 3D printed that so we can easily lift the car up on a quick lift jack. Okay, so that's I think that sums up all the 3D printing we done on the car. There's probably a few other bits and pieces we're still going to be doing, but yeah, a very useful tool to have in an engineering department. Here we have the 3D printer at work doing the bit for the centre console, and coming up next you can see we did it in two parts because we ran out of a certain colour filament, so we had to use orange. Moving on now to the damper bracket, which just off the printer there, and here we've got the steering wheel under print. This is a mould for the wing mirrors, and talking of wing mirrors, onto the insert you saw earlier fitted inside the actual mirror itself. Right, my badge hasn't fallen off yet. Breakfast of Sexy Champions, James Hunt badge. It does actually only stick on and come off. It will be going on a FLB T-top. Yeah, so that draws to the conclusion, the end of this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. The old like and subscribe. Big apologies at the start of the video. I did a first take and did it all perfectly, really happy with it, but someone forgot to put their microphone on, so I've got the microphone on now. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.